Alright guys, so today I'm going to be showing you how to convert your tiny flange catalytic converter into a nice beefy 2.5, 2.25, 2 3/4 outlet. Alright, so I already did one side. This was a 2-inch, I believe it was 2-inch inlet and outlet converter from like a 2.2 liter Honda, and I've had this converter for about, I want to say, anywhere from 5 to 10 years. I've already had it. It's been sitting in my garage for a really long time, so I never figured where I was going to use it, and I wasn't going to use it for my LS build, but it's just way too loud, and I need to quiet it down. The 2.5-inch exhaust duals are just very loud, so I'm going to be converting this. I have a 2.5-inch exhaust, so I need the catalytic converter to also be 2.5 inches. So I have myself some extra pipe that I'm cutting up to make myself a couple extensions, and you can buy just regular pipe like this, even in sections from the local parts store. Get yourself like a 12-inch piece and make a couple 4-inch cuts out of them to get your 1, 2, 3, 4 exhausts set up. So basically what the idea is to go ahead and cut the flange. I'm going to show you on this one. Cut the flange off. Then after you cut the flange off, you're going to cut it as far back as you need to get the extension into the catalytic converter. And the reason you want to go inside the converter and not try to weld it on the outside is because what'll happen if you weld it through the outside, you're going to have the catalytic converter come like this, and so inside you're going to have this little ledge that's over time it's going to start heating up, and then it's going to start breaking off, and these pieces are going to fall into the catalytic converter, and that's going to cause not only premature wear of the catalytic converter but excessive amount of noise. So the reason you stick this inside is because you leave all the shrapnel from when you use the wire wheel, you leave that on the outside, and then you deburr this on the inside and the outside, so when you slip it into it, there's no loose pieces, and you're going to slip it just enough so you get a good, maybe about 1/2 inch to 1/4 inch surface area between here and here, and then that'll get you not only a nice clean weld on the outside, but also a little bit more safety for the converter. So I'm going to go ahead and start taking off the flange, and then I'll catch you guys up later. Alright, so I've got the flange off. It's not very strong metal. It's not very difficult to cut. A regular standard cutting wheel should be able to go through this no problem. I had to change it halfway through because I seem to have run out. But you can totally tell the difference in size between one and another one. So it's a couple of reasons you might do this is because like I have an aftermarket exhaust or a custom exhaust, and your custom exhaust will have 2.25, 2.5, or even up to 3 inches of exhaust, but you still want to use the stock cats. You don't want to be buying some high flow cats or anything like that. So it's very easy to just go ahead and convert your flanges because of the way these are angled. You have plenty of room to cut back. So I'm going to cut back probably around this far. I'm going to go probably around this far, and I'm going to stop as soon as I can get the tube completely in there, just enough, as snug as possible. As soon as I've got that, then I know I'm good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on that, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. Alright, so I got this thing pretty much done. I didn't do the greatest of jobs of getting this. As you can see, it's a little bit off, but it doesn't really matter as long as This thing is pretty snug. I still have to deburr this. As you can see, it's still a little bit of shrapnel. So you want to, before you weld it, you do want to get rid of that. So as you can see, you can go ahead and get that, and then just align it to however you need to. If it needs to be like this, if it needs to be like this. So I'm going to go ahead and align it straight up and down with my hammer. I'm also going to be deburring this so I don't have any metal pieces digging inside. And then you also want to take your converter off your vise and then tilt it and bump it a couple times to get all that junk out. I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's like all the shrapnel from when you're cutting it lands in there. You want to get all that stuff out before you weld it, and then you're going to bump it again after you weld it to make sure it's all out. So I'm going to deburr this, and then I'm going to go ahead and start welding it. So I've got pretty much all of it welded except for this part right here where I'm going to need to do a little bit of filling. That's pretty normal, especially if you're not paying attention like I wasn't. Normally what I would recommend is do a cut here, there, here, and then on the other side. That way you can cut from here to here, and then from here to here, and then from here to there, etc., and you can get a nice even cut. I kind of just wanted to rush this for the video. I did do it well on the other side. That one came out pretty fine. This side's going to be a little bit more filling to do, which is no big deal. If anybody's wondering, this is just a regular flux core welder. It's like a 250, I think, or a 200 amp welder. It's not anything crazy. I'm not using gas for this. I do recommend that you be very careful with your settings. This is pretty thick metal because it is designed to go on the underside of your car, but because of all the years that this thing has to last under the car, and then you're filling it up with the exhaust and then moisture, and it becomes very not only contaminated on the inside, but also very weak. So it's very easy to blow through this, whereas this one that's technically the same gauge as this is harder to blow through than this one is. So I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of filling right here, and then we're going to go I'm going to fill it, and then I'm going to go ahead and brush off the welds, and then we're going to do a little overview. Well, this is all filled up. You see how I struggled a little bit, but I'm fairly good at filling. So I mean, it's sealed. You know, it's sealed enough. This isn't a structural piece, so it's not a big deal. This is going to be tilted up toward the body, so no one's ever going to see this. But if you do need to fill it, you know you're able to. Like I said, this is just a regular flux core welder. You don't need anything fancy. If you do have something a little more fancy, your welds are going to come out way better than this. A lot less splatter and a lot more uniform welds. I don't have the luxury of that, so it's not something that I can do. Another thing I want to point out, you want to go ahead at the very end, weld this new tube to the ribs of your converter to make sure that it doesn't end up splitting right here. But here's what it looks like on the inside. As you can see, it looks fairly clean. You don't really have any issues. There's a little spots on the converter where the welds happen to fall, but it's nothing major. Something's a lot better than nothing. So this is before, okay, after. So it's a pretty big difference. Performance wise, you are going to lose a little bit of performance because you are putting a catalytic converter on your vehicle, but you're also going to gain performance. If this was a stock catalytic converter on your vehicle and you're going up a size, you are going to gain a little bit of power versus having to put an adapter on that one. That's just going to bottleneck the whole system, and this one will flow a little bit better. So that's the main reason you would do it. If you're going for all-out power, you could just delete the cat completely, put in a test pipe, and then call it done. But that's not the purpose of this video. This is for something else. So I'm going to be putting these on the LS, and then I'm going to be taking before and after audio of the truck to see how much quieter this thing has gotten. So that goes for wrapping up this video. I hope this is able to help somebody in the future trying to install a larger diameter cat without having to spend a whole lot of money. So overall, this is probably going to cost you like $10, including electricity and a little bit of welding wire. Pipes are like $6. You can cut that in half, and I did 4 inches, and if it's like a 12-inch pipe, you can probably do like 3-inch sections, and then save. Then you can get 4 3-inch sections, 2 for each cat. But that's gonna wrap up this video. Like I said, I hope this is able to help somebody. Any kind of questions, comments, concern, go ahead and throw them in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Night Wrencher out.